Yeah, so today's topic is, like I said, it's you can read the title. It's made in. We have cut China and we've replaced India over there. Made in India. It is vouched for local based on the statement and based on the speech which our Prime Minister gave recently. He announced the 20 lakh crore package for increasing employment, for going towards for purchasing local products, made in India products, and to accelerate the made in India, make in India campaign, which was started by BJP back in 2014. And initially, the topic was supposed to be. You can see the logo of TikTok being banned over here. So initially, we were thinking of basing the entire topic centrally on TikTok and the controversy that has been going on. Most of you will be familiar with the YouTube versus TikTok episode that is going on. Carrie Minati once recently made a video on that, and it was supposed to break all the records, and it was supposed to be the most watched video of an Indian YouTuber without any music content. But then it was taken down by YouTube after several mass reporting done by TikTokers. And based on that, we also based on the recent speech by the Prime Minister, we thought of broadening this to other areas which encompass the employment, employability, and the outsourcing of foreign companies to India so that India can be the superpower which China already has become by replacing China and putting ourselves on that list. So, this is the overall idea of what we're going to discuss today so that it becomes clear for people to set their expectations right. So I will move on to the next slide. Okay, a quick question, and you don't have to answer it yourself. You can think of the answer inside your brain. Who runs most of America? Put your thinking caps on and just guess a name. Of course, it's a country, it's the people of a country. Put your thinking caps and quickly think of who runs most of America. The answer is going to probably surprise some of you, and some of you would be expecting it. The answer is
People of
we
Indian.
Indians.
Yes.
And if it baffles you, if it bewilders you, well, we have got our reasons why Indians are the ones to run the America, run the entire country. See, this is how Indians have raised the US economy. So Indians make up only 2% of the total US population, but they comprise 8% of the founders of high-tech companies. You look at the entrepreneurs which have emerged in America in the last 10 years, be it in restaurants, be it in automobiles, be it in information technology. You will find most of them are Indians who have immigrated to US or who were born in the United States. A lot of criticism and a lot of racism is also what they face, and despite that they end up being entrepreneur in nature, and they constitute and comprise 8% of the founders of high-tech companies. One third of the technology startups in the Silicon Valley is in Silicon Valley is owned by Indians. 80% of European and US outsourcing firms ranked India as their number one outsourcing destination. So a survey was taken. I will come to the graph in the next slide, where 80% of European and US outsourcing firms said that we would go for India if at all we require our technology to be outsourced. And the IT sector, those who are living in Bangalore or those who have a vague idea about Bangalore. Palash, you have raised your hand. I will reach out to you once I'm done with this section. Then you can unmute your mic and you can ask if you have any question. Or is it a suggestion you want to give right now based on what I am discussing? You can unmute yourself and you can say it out, Palash.
I don't know, but right now mute or not. I don't know.
Yeah,
Am I
Palash,
audible?
I can hear
Am
you.
I, am I audible? Okay. I was just saying that the 80% of European and it doesn't impact our GDP, right?
Right. it does not impact our GDP.
because all
Yeah,
the people,
yeah, go ahead.
it doesn't our people go out there and increase their GDP, but our resources, we should not be proud of people going outside and earning, right?
See, this is why the title of this slide is How Indians Have Raised the US Economy. It's not the other way around. It's not how US has raised the Indian economy or how Indians working for US have raised the Indian economy, right? So here we are talking
If
about US companies outsourcing to India, Indians providing them the solution at a much cheaper rate, which is benefiting United States of America, not India, is what my goal is what I wish to explain through this slide. Okay, so I'll continue with
okay,
where I left.
yeah,
So yeah, those familiar with, as I was saying, those familiar with Bangalore or those who know a little bit about the IT sector in India know that it accounts for 67% of the global outsourcing market, and it is a number which is increasing day by day. These numbers belong to 2017 as the website I collected the information from. I will give the source of these numbers as well at the end of our presentation. So the website I collected from had last updated in 2017. So of course you can have an assumption of how much this number has grown if it is consistent with 2020. Now, if you have the question like despite US infrastructure, US facility, US education system being at a higher level than India, why are US companies looking towards India to outsource their technology? The answer is quite simple. It is the rate of the labor. So this is a chart which compares the wage labor rate between various companies. It is it is talking about the automotive manufacturing industry. It is in a scale on a scale of 1 to 50, where 50 is the highest and 1 is the lowest. But this is to give you a fair idea of where India ranks among the labor wages, right? So since it is automotive manufacturing industry, one can imagine Germany being on the top because of Volkswagen, BMW, and all the automobile sector which emerged from Germany. You can see USA at 35.4, going down to Taiwan at 9.2, China is at 2.8, and India is at the lowest 0.9. So the rate at which India provides labor for a day, you can see the difference. While Germany gives 46.4, India gives 0.9, and it's a huge difference. So whatever a company can do within 2 days from Germany, they can do the same thing. They might have to take some extra days, but they can do it at more than 80% cheaper rate from India. And that is why India and China, both these countries, are the first choice for foreign companies to outsource. So this was, let me close this. Yeah. So this was the survey done by Deloitte to see how many US companies have already outsourced or are willing to outsource their technologies to India in the future. And as you can see, how many companies are willing to outsource in which country, to which country. So this was the survey which was done by Deloitte. And you can see 59% of the companies in the United States of America are already outsourcing, and 22% are planning to go in the future. They're considering to go in the future. There are other countries. Australia is at 19%, China is at 40%. This is one area where we are ahead of China. US itself is at 52%. There's Brazil, there is Malaysia, there is South Africa. So we have got a lot of first world countries which are lower than a third world country like India. And the reason is this, or the reasons are this. We speak English. It's the first reason. India is the largest English speaking country in terms of population. So it has surpassed the United States of America. English is one of the two official languages of India. So this ease of communication is what brings US and UK based companies to India. Cheap personal cost as compared to other countries. does not require any insight, as I covered it previously. A good software engineer in the United States would charge close to $30 to $35 per hour, but you can get the same from India at approx $10 to $15, if not less than that. So that is why these personal costs are quite low in India as compared to other first world countries. So the same work which a US engineer could do, the Indian engineer can do it at a much lesser cost. And because of this cheap labor, these US based companies look towards India to outsource their product. And it's not just about price, it's about the quality of the deliverables. And India has always been a country which gives the optimized and the best quality products in terms of software, in terms of hardware. And the innovation that we do is one of the reasons why these companies look towards India for outsourcing. Now, I have been talking a lot about India, and what India has achieved so far, why India is on the top of the list. But at the end of the day, it is China which has got the highest number of foreign reserves. It is China which has got the highest number of assembly units. It is China which has got the highest number of manufacturing hubs. And so, how did China unleash the dragon? How did China manage to be on the top while the companies in the US and UK look towards India for their outsourcing? Well, it is mainly because of the capital availability. You know, FDI, or as we say, foreign direct investment, is what we call a capital investment from an outsider on an on a host country, which decides how much infrastructure will be built, which decides in what scale the production or development will go on, and how much of the progress will be made. So FDI is mainly dependent on the available investment capital that may be put into circulation. And how did China manage to fetch all of it? In the early 2000s, a global economic boom happened, and this has got a lot to do with the communist regime in China. So the government in China, as you all know, is a communist regime. It's a communism government, and it dictates how the market would work, how the market would operate, not the people. And that is one of the biggest reasons why China has got so much of foreign reserves, why China has got this many, uh, sorry, why China has got this many FDIs invested in the country. So what has happened in India? We have got, if democracy were there in India, it wouldn't have been a problem. But we don't have democracy in India. We have got excessive democracy, right? So we have got people who shout at the government, who oppose the government in whatever thing the government brings in. And that is one of the big reasons why India does not get to monopolize, or the government does not get to dictate how the market works. Communism in China has been successful in drawing the attention of these investors investing so much FDI into China, which has made China as the first option or first choice for installing the manufacturing hubs or the assembly units. The second point is competitiveness. Large scale infrastructure development, strong workforce. We know that China is the most populous country. They've got loads of manpower, and the human resources which are present over there are trained day in and day out by the communist regime to work for these investors who provide the FDIs, and which is why it results in lower transactional costs and increased profits. The third one is regulatory environment, which is again the communist regime of China, which promotes investment in commercial and entrepreneurial activities. That is why China is the country which has got the largest number of billionaires, individual billionaires, be it the founder of Alibaba or the founder of Xiaomi, or the founder of Oppo, Vivo, OnePlus. So we've got these billionaires who are populated in China, and that is because of the Chinese government promoting investment in entrepreneurial activities by providing financial incentives in the form of tax breaks, grants, low cost government loans, and subsidies. Okay, so this was the first section of our discussion, which is based on how China has managed to secure this entire control and monopoly over the assembly units. So